Good morning, and welcome to Redeemer Lutheran Church. I'm Pastor Gary Lodeholt. I didn't get to preach a couple of Sundays ago. We have an associate pastor here at Redeemer, and that Sunday was her turn to preach, so maybe I chose this topic because I didn't get to preach when these verses were on schedule. Sometimes a message just builds up inside, and you've got to get it out. On the other hand, maybe it was the fact that Sunday's gospel reading that Sunday's gospel reading had five short parables that Jesus told. And that fits well into our weekly schedule for these morning moments. Even more importantly, it gives me an opportunity to talk a little bit about a topic I have very intentionally avoided up until now. I've never addressed the parables that Jesus told, at least as a topic on their own. The parables are some of the most loved, most well-known of all of Jesus' teachings. We love these stories, and they speak to us in powerful ways. But they are also notoriously difficult. They used to be thought of as an earthly story with a heavenly meaning. In more recent times, the parables have become understood more like a surrealistic painting. The story floats along just fine until suddenly there's an odd twist that turns everything upside down, and you've got to work with and massage the meaning out of the story. So, on July 30th, the gospel reading was from Matthew 13, and in that passage, Jesus gives us 5 parables about the kingdom of God. Let's take a look together this week. The first parable Jesus offers in these verses is the one about the mustard seed. You'll find it in Matthew 13, verses 31 and 32. He put before them another parable. The kingdom of heaven is like a mustard seed that someone took and sowed in his field. It is the smallest of all the seeds, but when it has grown, it is the greatest of shrubs and becomes a tree, so that the birds of the air come and make nests in its branches. This is one of those well-loved and well-known parables Jesus told. I've heard people talk about charms on a necklace or bracelet that had a tiny, tiny mustard seed in it, and the glass surrounding it magnified it so that it could be seen better. And that seems to be a significant part of the story. This tiny seed grows into a large shrub. Jesus says that the kingdom of God is like that. We'll get back to that in a bit. Because you see, then the twists begin. First of all, in the society of Jesus' day, mustard was not only considered a weed, it was a pernicious weed. There were laws forbidding it to be planted because it grew and spread like kudzu here in the South. What does that mean? And what does Jesus mean? Biblical scholars have commented that the mustard plant is a large shrub, but also that the stems and branches are soft and green, and it would be an odd bird indeed that would make a nest on such an unsteady and weak platform. So as you can see, this story isn't so simple after all. How is this like the kingdom of God? Well, that's really one of the keys to unlocking the parables. Jesus begins by saying that the kingdom of God is like a mustard seed. Well, what we learn about the seed is that it grows profusely, and there's nothing you can do to stop it. It grows where you want it and where you don't, but it grows. So perhaps Jesus is saying that the kingdom of God is like that. It starts small with one person, and then it grows and grows and grows, and there's nothing anyone can do to stop it. In that sense, maybe kudzu is the most biblically theological plant we have. But there's more. While it is an odd place for a bird to build a nest, the plant can indeed provide shelter. The kingdom of God might seem like an odd place for people to turn for refuge and safety, But that's just the place we should turn. We belong to God, and we are held in God's arms always. What is the kingdom of God like? Is it full of wild, uncontrollable growth among us? Does it offer us exactly the shelter we need in spite of appearances? What is the kingdom of God like for you? Well, I don't know about you, but I'm not sure I'll ever think of kudzu quite the same again. Thanks for watching.